Hey guys, Future Gabe here editing, and I'm an idiot. I keep calling this issue number 18 in the intro. This is issue 17. I don't know why I kept calling it issue 18. Issue 18 is coming in August. This is issue number 17. So if you hear me say issue 18, I'm wrong. You'll probably hear that same mess up in the one shot. So if you hear me talking again in the intro, you know I messed up. So enjoy issue number 17. Hello everyone and welcome to the monthly Dive Into the Longbox issue number 18. I'm Gabe here. I almost said game like a video game. I am Gabe here. Joined by the Canadian supernova himself, Ajax. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. Honestly, doing pretty good.
That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. I'm doing good too. By the time you're listening to this, I will be in Florida, dying of heat as usual. By the time you listen to this,
We're dying of heat now.
Dude, it is so hot right now. Outside,
Yeah.
I went outside to run to my car for 2 seconds, and it felt like I was out there for hours. My hair looks crazy, right? Dude, I'm like shining right now. Like, it's crazy. It's fucking wild, dude. I hate the summer so much. But I gotta tell you, the summer has brought something good, Ajax. It has brought a good comic book series that I am liking issue 1 of so far. It has brought...
Is that right?
Absolute Power. This is the big summer event for DC. And issue 1 was actually really fucking good. And it's funny to see because everyone had the lowest expectations for this thing. And everyone came out of it like, holy fuck, like this might be like one of the best events they've done in like a decade. Like this shit's really good.
That good, huh?
It's for this. It's to the point where the stakes, and so the stakes in it, without spoiling, the stakes are the heroes lost their powers because of Amanda Waller and her new team, which is Failsafe, the Batman robot villain that he put in place to put him in place if he ever got out of line. Remember, he destroyed it, but in this, Amanda Waller was able to scrounge up the pieces and have it rebuilt by her tech group to rebuild Failsafe. And also, a part of her team is Brainiac's female counterpart that he was making in the recent House of Brainiac story that just ended on Superman, which is also really fucking good. Now she's a part of the team, which is like, she's like an uber Brainiac. Everything Brainiac's ever known, any knowledge he's ever had, because in that book he was losing knowledge and missing pieces of his memory.
Right.
His female Brainiac was like the one to have all the missing pieces. So she's like beyond smart, but now Amanda Waller had it programmed in its brain that it was a real person who was raised by Amanda Waller. So now there's like this like family-like connection with Amanda Waller and this Brainiac creation, which I think is a pretty cool concept. She like manipulated it. And big shock here. This wasn't like a surprise in this book, but it was announced in Green Arrow. Green Arrow's a part of the crew. He is a turncoat against the Justice League. He is the one normal guy in the Justice League everyone dogged on, but we don't know why he's a turncoat. It seems like mind control. We don't know yet, but the stuff he's saying is not what we think we would hear from Wally, or not Wally, from Green Arrow himself. And even Batman's like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, something's wrong with you. But that, which I think is pretty cool. And they also introduced, what's her name from Flash and Arrow. She was a character on that show. God, I forgot her name. Let me see. I'm going to look it up really quick. Absolute Power. Because now she's a character in the books. And they brought her over. It is... Wait for it. Dreamer. Dreamer from like the Arrow from the Arrowverse.
Okay.
Played by Nicole Maines. She's actually credited as a creator and writer of the character in the comics. So I guess she liked playing the character so much, DC brought her over as a writer. And her character's pretty cool because her character is working for Amanda Waller, but she doesn't want to be. And she's only working for her because Amanda Waller has her family hostage, and if she doesn't listen to her, there's no head bombs, but she will straight up murder her family if she doesn't listen to her. Just straight up evil villain shit. That is her reasoning for being on Amanda Waller's team. She's forced to be. So the whole point, the heroes lose their power. Oh, and Metallo shows up too. So, pretty cool. So yeah, heroes lose their powers, they get all taken from them, and will they get them back? Who knows? Superman's getting shot in the chest. The Superboys are flying in the sky and they crash to the ground. Pretty cool. It's a very interesting story. Definitely check it out if people have the chance to. I don't want to say too much without spoiling, but I believe it's only 4 issues. It's really short. It's only going until I believe July, August, September, maybe October it ends, which is rumored to lead into the Absolute universe, which is where we saw that Absolute Batman image that leaked online. So let's see what happens.
So is that gonna be like their version of like the Ultimate Universe for like
Yes,
Marvel?
that we've been hearing so much about. That
Yeah.
may be that's rumored to be what that's going to be. And it's supposed to be just like DC taking a different route for everything, which I like. I want them to do something different. And when I saw that Batman drawing, I was like, that's fucking cool. It's getting a lot of mixed reviews, which I think is not a bad thing. I think getting mixed reviews is good because I feel like if everyone just dogs on something, that's not fun. But if everyone loves something, you know they're lying.
Yeah.
So it's catching interest, and I think I like that. I am a big fan of it. I think because I love the '90s style design for it, with the fucking just big arms, big legs, like tiny head, like the weird '90s proportions are back. Like, this is cool. I'll take it. I'm excited. It's something different. It's new Batman logo, new look for Batman. He has like wings on his hands that have like hooks on it. I don't know how the fuck that shit works. I don't know what's going on, but I'm excited to find out. So let's see what
I
happens.
hope doesn't happen is that, like with Marvel, when the Ultimate Universe was like starting to get like a lot of traction and shit like that, they would slowly try to integrate Ultimate characters in the 616 universe.
Yep.
So like you saw Miles, for example, was an Ultimate Universe character. Now he's a 616 character.
Yeah.
Same thing with Ghost Spider, Spider-Gwen, whatever you want to call her.
It's like whatever
She's
worked, they just pulled over.
Exactly. I don't want DC to do that. I want it to be like a self-contained universe. And if you want to do like universe crossovers here and there, you can.
Yeah.
But like I feel like once you merge it, you kind of like devalue that universe.
Yeah, I think so too. And which is what I'm interested about is like, is this universe going to keep going? Or are they just jumping into the deep end with this Absolute universe and that's going to be it? You know what I mean? Is that going to be the only universe? Like, I wonder how that's going to go. Is it going to coincide with the one going on now? There's a lot up in the air, but I'm hoping that we get some news at San Diego Comic-Con that hopefully will shed some light on that. I'm hoping. And also, for people that are fans of Apollo, he does make a cameo appearance in Absolute Power. Yes, the
Really?
Apollo, yes. So, it's a little, because in the book, like, every hero in the world is losing their powers. Like, every hero is getting their powers, like, taken away from them. So you get some weird, like, cameos in there. You're like, what the fuck? Like, they'll show, like, I'm trying to think of, like, someone. I mean, just name anyone, really, from DC that's been big in the past, like, 10 years, and they probably showed up in that. All the Justice League's there. Their side characters, fucking Spectre shows up, gets his powers sucked away from him. It's like, it's cool. It's very cool. Highly recommend.
Is this an editorial decision where they're like, the Authority movie's coming out next year.
Let's slip Apollo in there.
Let's try to get one of those guys in for our big, crossover event.
Yeah, and I think I hope that's the case. I want to see more light shine on them going into the movies that's coming out.
It only makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's smart to do. That's how you do some corporate synergy. So let's hope that's what they're doing.
Because at this point now, you just come to expect that, like, okay, like the comic book industry is kind of just following what the movies are going to be in a, like, not totally, but just in a sense that, like, okay, now we have a so-and-so movie coming out of, like, I don't know, Blue Beetle. Well, now we have to give Blue Beetle more shine, like in the comic books.
Yeah.
Or more material, more content, more solo series, so on and so forth.
Yep.
More toys,
Yeah, and I feel like they're playing catch-up a lot, too, with that sometimes. They're just like, oh, shit, this is already out. We gotta do something, So if they can get ahead of it, that'd be sick. Get people excited.
Yeah, and I mean, with the Authority, that's fine with me, because, like, that's never been adapted.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited for it. I'm thrilled.
Yeah,
I'll absolutely be there opening weekend.
100%. I'll be there for Deadpool 2. Actually, this is kind of like a
Yeah,
Deadpool
I
theme
will.
next 2 issues. The issue and one shot. We got a Deadpool themed show a little bit. We got some Deadpool stuff sprinkled in there for you Deadpool fans.
Before we jump right into it, I'll mention also what I'm reading, which is technically Deadpool and Wolverine related. I'm reading New X-Men by Grant Morrison.
Ooh.
The reason why I say it's technically Deadpool and Wolverine related is because that's the series where Cassandra Nova was created.
Yes.
That's where she made her debut, and she's
Man.
gonna be the big bad in Deadpool and Wolverine.
That little bald-headed motherfucker. No.
Bro, when I was reading and I saw the panel happen, because I'd seen it on the internet before, but when I saw the panel happening of like Cassandra and Professor X like in the womb, and Professor just fucking decks her in the face, bro, I started laughing my ass off.
Fucking
I was like, this is so like Grant Morrison levels of ridiculous, and I was loving it.
Two babies literally fighting in the womb.
Yeah, like they're trying to like I-beam each other at one point. It's
yeah,
so
I've seen
ridiculous.
That image. That's crazy.
But what people don't actually mention about that issue is that that's an entire issue where like, I think Jean and Emma are inside either Cassandra or Professor's mind, and they're kind of like trying to like navigate like the memories.
Yeah.
And all that to try to get Professor out of like his induced coma that Cassandra put him in.
Damn.
That entire issue is a silent issue. There's no dialogue.
Oh, is it? That's kind of I like stuff like that. That's so different.
That it's a silent issue until the last panel, where Jean finally mentions like, the reason why Professor doesn't like her is because he could sense that she was evil like from the womb.
Yeah.
Like he could just sense it.
Damn,
that's the only thing she says like the whole issue.
Damn, I kind of want to check because I know Drew's been wanting to read New X-Men, and like I've seen it around at the local shops, and I'm like,
I recommend it.
I've been on the fence, so when I saw you reading, I was like, all right, maybe I should.
I recommend it. I'm like 15 issues deep at this point. I love it. I love this run. I absolutely love this run.
How many issues is it? It's a couple hundred, right?
No,
or is
44.
It's only 44. Okay, I don't know why I thought it went longer than it did.
Well, 44 is still.
That's still pretty long.
Because that's like almost 3 years, like two and a half years.
I always thought it was much larger than 44 issues. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I think it's because it is so hyped up and talked about that I felt like there was more. You know what I mean?
What makes me laugh like unintentionally. So Frank Whiteley draws like the early issues. Frank Whiteley, of course, famous for All-Star Superman.
Yes.
Famous for collaborating with Grant Morrison, right?
Yes. I believe he also did oh god, he did I believe it was the covers for what was the Hero's Legacy.
Hero's Legacy, okay.
Yes.
The way that he draws Wolverine, I can't properly describe it without saying that he kind of draws Wolverine like he's metrosexual.
I never heard that description.
If you don't know like what metrosexual means, it's like it's a straight guy, but he takes very good care of himself.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like he really cares about his personal
image.
hygiene to
he's got really big lips in this one image.
Yes,
he's
well, in every like new X-Men close up of Wolverine, he's like pouting. He's pouting his lips like he's like posing for GQ or something. It's like, come on, bro. Like, why is he posing like this? Why is Frank drawing Wolverine like he's like fucking modeling for a Playgirl? It's so weird.
So, but I did confirm it's Jupiter's Legacy. I meant the one that got the Netflix. So he does all the art for Jupiter's Legacy. By the way, Jupiter's Legacy. Don't let the show discourage you, people. Read the books. The books are really good.
That was Mark Millar.
It was Mark. I always say Millar the way it's spelled. It's not Miller. That's what I thought. But Mark Millar with Frank Whiteley art. Really good. I fucking loved it. I got the books because I watched the show, and I was like, I want to see what the books are about. And when I got the books, I was like, wow, these are just. First of all, a lot of the show they just took right from the book. They just changed things. They changed things here or there, but there's less of a focus on that like side story they really promoted in the show of like them getting their powers. That's only like an issue or two in it, you know. The whole first season is like the first couple issues. So there's so much more after that and it's written a lot better in the comic than it is performed in the show. Like the surprise in it's done a lot better. It's paced a lot better in the comics in the show, and the images look a lot better in a comic than they do in the show. I think it's one of those rare instances where it is done right from the book, but it's just so much better in the book than it is in the show. It just doesn't translate well. So, but before we move on to our topics for today, I did get some books that recently, as I was discussing with you earlier, I got the new X-Men #1. I'm excited to read it. Haven't read it yet because I can't give a review. So next time we do this, I'll have my thoughts on X-Men #1. And actually, by the time we get to the next issue, Ajax, we may have 2 new X-Men books already read, depending. Because, first of all, issue 2 comes out. J. Scott Campbell is doing a different X-Woman for the next 4 issues on each cover. So, I thought, why not start and get the Psylocke one? Because issue 2, that I'm sharing with you now, has this fucking amazing image of magic that we're getting.
Well, you might have sold me on this, Gabe, because I love magic. So you might have sold me on this. And I love J. Scott Campbell as well.
Like, it looks so great. This one drops.
Does.
So this is what's interesting. So this drops. I believe this is. I believe it says October here, but I believe it's August 14th. I believe it drops because issue 3 comes out August 28th, 2 weeks later.
Wow.
I was like 2 a month, and there's no image yet for his J. Scott Campbell cover, but it is Rogue. Whatever it is, it's a Rogue cover. So you know I'm going to be all over that. But this is the cover they released with Cyclops, and then issue 4 comes out, I believe in September, and this one that he's doing for the cover will be Emma Frost. So you know that's going to be amazing. It's going to look great.
Yes.
His art is made for this, so I'm very excited. I did tell my shop, can I please have all of the next 4 J. Scott Campbell covers, please? So I can have them all together, because I love J. Scott Campbell. And I didn't know this was going to be like twice a month, which then I found out it's not. It's alternating with Uncanny X-Men right here. As you can see, in August, there's 1 issue, because there's 2 issues of regular X-Men. And then in September, we got 2 issues of Uncanny. And then it's 1 issue after that in October. So it's alternating. Either way, you're going to have about 3 X books from these team books at least a month, 3 to 4. Especially when
I'm going to be trying to read all of them. Fuck.
Dude, especially, and dude, I'm jumping on everything. I'm getting I'm still on the fence about X-Force. That's the only one I'm not sure yet. Which I don't know why. It has like Forge and Deadpool, but I'm still on the fence about it. But I'm definitely getting X Factor. That has it's a great team for X Factor that we're seeing. I'm definitely getting that. I'm jumping on Exceptional X-Men as well. Next week Witchblade comes out. Witchblade #1.
Yes.
I did. So I do have X-Force on my pull list. It's a decent team here. We got Ascani. We got Captain Britain, Deadpool, Forge. Sage is back. Surge and Tank. Wow. Is Sage from the Extreme? Yes. She looks so badass in Extreme X-Men.
Yes.
She's the one that had the pale skin and all that.
Yes, and Sage started out as I think Sebastian Shaw's personal assistant for the Hellfire Club.
Oh, really? See, I don't remember that. But
yeah, that was her original deal.
And then after that, Uncanny comes out in August. X Factor. This looks fucking great. So X Factor's a great team. It's Angel, Cecilia Reyes, Feral, Frenzy, Havoc, and Pyro. If you put Angel, Archangel, whatever you want to call him, it's just Angel in this. But if you put him in a book, I'm going to fucking buy it. And the premise of this is kind of like a Youngblood version of X Factor. It is a government-operated X team. Hence why they all have the same costume.
I hate being that guy, but whoever drew Angel on this cover drew him exactly like he's Booster Gold.
He does look like Booster Gold.
I can't unsee it.
Fine, I'll buy this cover then. Of him in Dazzler pants. But yeah, there are some cool covers here. We got a cool cover with Havoc, and I'm so down. I don't know why I am, but I am so down for this team. I see this team, and I'm like, this is a very 90s-esque team. Very, like I said, Youngblood-esque premise to it. So I'm down. I'm super in. I like Pyro's new look with the face tattoo. I think it's very intriguing, very different. So, dude, I am so down for this. They've also been doing these covers where they're just the logo, and I'm like, that's kind of cool.
I'm
cool
very game
variant.
to give it a chance because outside of like Havoc, Pyro, and Angel, like I'm not actually that familiar with
With
like
these
the
other
rest of the
characters.
cast.
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah, I'm
like
not super
intrigued.
familiar with them.
So actually, the only book I don't have on my pull list is NYX. There's no one on that team I really
Okay.
care about. No offense to
But
them, but there's no
pull
one
it
I
up so
care
I
about
can
on
see
that
it.
team. Here, let me pull that up here. NYX. I know, like, I think Kamala's on it, which is like the only person I would like care about. Oh, and Wolverine, who they're just calling her Wolverine now, but it's X-23. So this is the
That's
team.
strange.
It's Kamala, X-23, Sophie Kaku, Prodigy, and Anole.
Oh, wait. That's she's from New X-Men.
Who's
Holy
Stephanie?
shit, she's yes.
Oh.
So she's
Created by
she's
Grant
got
Morrison.
she's got 4 other sisters, but they're only using one.
So yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
well,
like,
that's a read for me.
yeah, for me, like, the only people I know, because I haven't read New X-Men, are Kamala and X-23, and I'm gonna be honest, I liked X-23 better when she was X-23, because
I agree.
reading any book with her now, they just want to write her like Wolverine, so she's just Wolverine 2.0, just as a woman, and it's like, that's fine, Wolverine's cool, but I'll just read a Wolverine book if I want to read that. I'll read Uncanny. I like that she was still different. Even though she was a clone, she was still different. She does have some cool covers, though. But of course, it's her as X-23, so I was like, what the fuck? I also kind of want this cover of them. It's like a swimsuit issue. And
This
it's
is
very,
so
again,
90s.
very 90s. But like, got Iceman icing his drink. You got Cyclops lasering his like burgers, which is not how his beams work. But I don't give a fuck. It's a comic book cover. So got Dazzler down here, like old school Dazzler in the bottom left. So it's a cool cover, cool 90s cover. I don't
like
know.
it.
I kind of want that one. I'm gonna be honest. Maybe I will pick up NYX one just to get that cover. So who knows?
I'm gonna give it a chance. I like Kamala, of course. I like X-23. And because I've been reading New X-Men, I've really been liking the Cuckoo sisters a lot.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens, man. Why does it say she's in this book? Yeah, it's what?
No, it's a tribute cover.
Oh,
that's
NY.
why.
Oh, okay, that's why. I was like, what? So yeah, that's the new stuff that's coming out that I'm very excited for the X books. Old school X stuff that I picked up. I got a cool little pull at my shop here, one of my local shops. This was my childhood shop that I went to, that I used to go to with my dad. I scored an X-Men, Uncanny X-Men number 168, first appearance of Madeline Pryor, with the iconic Kitty Pryde cover, of her like in the spotlight.
That's the first Madeline.
This is first appearance of Madeline Pryor. She even says it's the last page of the book. Cyclops is like, you look, I feel like I've seen you before. And she's like, yeah, maybe you have. My name's Madeline Pryor. And it's like, Cyclops is like, no, you're not. Like, you look like Jean. Like, he's kind of shook when he sees her. He's like, what the fuck?
Cyclops is like, my penis can't tell the difference. Come on.
So that was just a cool get when I went there. Something I picked up and I actually just read the other day, Superman Savage Dragon, because your boy has officially added Savage Dragon to his pull list. The goofiness of Savage Dragon has pulled me in, from what I've seen, and I have officially added it to my pull list when it comes out.
Gabe and I have talked a lot about how crazy Savage Dragon has gotten lately.
And after talking about it so
screen.
much, I went to the shop and I said, you know what? I need one of those like turn off your brain books. I went, can you put on Savage Dragon for me? And the shop owner looked at me and started laughing. Not at me, but he goes, did you see Mickey Mouse chasing after people on the cover? I go, yeah, that's why I'm getting it. It's ridiculous. He goes, 100%. He goes, I got you. He goes, do you want me to order like any previous issues? I go, yeah. If you're able, as far back as you can go. I was like, anything from 266 up to now, like the jumping on point when they moved to San Francisco, I'll go from there. But this joint book here is just an excuse for Eric Larson to talk shit about Superman for like 30-something, 40-something pages. The whole book is just Savage Dragon being like, this fucking alien loser with underwear that he wears outside of his pants is trying to come to my city and take my villains from me. Like, this is bullshit. And then he's quickly reminded by Lois Lane, like, you are also not a human. And he's like, but that's besides the point. This guy sucks. It's even the whole time Superman's like, can you shut the fuck up, please? Like, I'm on your side. I'm trying to help you. You're like, what are you doing? You're being an asshole. But yeah,
it reminds me of that one scene in Goon, which is one of my all-time favorite hockey movies. The two Russian guys are making fun of the goalie. They're grabbing the goalie mask and they're like, "Oh yes, we love to skull fuck your mother." And the goalie's like, "Has anyone seen this shit? We're on the same fucking team."
I also got some 90s goodies, Ajax, which I did share with you before, but I can actually show them off now. I got Aquaman #0. This man was fresh off getting his hand burned off, so now he has the cool hook. And it's something I wish he got in the movies, but he didn't. Maybe James Gunn will give him the hook.
Was this or was this not written by Peter David?
This is Peter David. Yes, Peter David, and I don't know who does the art, but Peter David. I can't read the name because they did the lettering in a way that I can't really read it with the waves behind it, so it's kind of hard to read. But it is Peter David.
Peter David had a run there for a couple years where anything he touched was usually very good.
So that's why I wanted to start getting into this. This is during, I believe, 0 Hour was the name of it because it has the 0 Hour logo here. On the cover. This is like one of the reboot series that they did, but yeah, I thought it was cool. I always thought it was cool. I do want the cover where he's actually getting his hand burned in the water. I do want that cover, but Hook Aquaman is my favorite thing in the whole goddamn world. I think it's the coolest shit ever. Plus with the long hair and the beard, like this is what the movie should have been. Like that just looks badass. That's cool. And then I got an iconic cover, Ajax. Green Lantern #49. This is when Hal started going evil.
When you told me what you paid for this, I couldn't believe it.
Brother, I paid $4 whole. I was just as shocked as you.
Yeah, because that's like usually like a $15 book.
So one of the shops near me had it for like $18, and I was like, oh, that's not too bad. And then I went to this shop like months later. I just went to this the other week. I saw it for $4, and I was like, yoink. Like I scooped it out because we went with Justine and her nephew because he wanted to get more comics. By the way, Justine spent like almost over $100 on comic books for him. He picked up a bunch of Spawn trade paper. He loves Spawn. A bunch of Spawn trade paperbacks. He picked up Kingdom Come. He picked up Jim Lee's Superman run, like when he first got to DC. He picked up a bunch of stuff. He picked up some new books too, like Batman Brave and the Bold. World's Finest he picked up. So Justine was just buying him everything because she's trying to get him to read more. So, right. But she got him the first 3 full trade paperbacks of Spawn, which is like the first, like, I think like 30 issues in total of Spawn.
Something like that, yeah.
So he's going to be doing a lot of reading, but I found this, and I was like, oh, hell fucking yeah. So I scooped it up. It was this or getting Chip Zdarsky's Public Domain, and I was like, I'll get that later, because that's something that has been on my to-buy list. But I had to get this. This is awesome. This is when he's running around killing fucking other Green Lanterns. And Hal Jordan's turning evil. This is before he turns into Parallax. As he's turning into Parallax, kills Kilowog. Spoiler alert. He kills a lot of Lanterns. Die in this book at the hands of Hal Jordan. This book is so fucked. But this is beginning to introduce my favorite Lantern, Kyle Rayner, who will be coming in, which I do have the first appearance of over on the Spin Rack, which I believe is issue 51. I believe. Because 50 is the one where his hand's in the air. That's like the first full appearance of Kyle Rayner not in costume. But I have the first costume appearance of Kyle Rayner, which is all I care about. So, very, very cool. And the last 2 things here you're going to be big fans of. You know about one, but I don't want to talk about on the show. Witchblade Deluxe Collection. You know, I had to get that. Don't want to read some Witchblade. This is going with me to Florida. I'm going to be reading this in the car. Real excited. And for $1, Ajax... For $1, The Darkness #1.
I still can't believe you got this for $1.
Neither could I. I had to pull it out, and I had to put it down and go, all right, I got to check CLZ to see if this is the actual #1 or like a reprint.
Yeah.
It's the actual one. So I grabbed it. Why not? I was like, sure, it's $1. Why not?
And it's not even like in terrible condition either. It's like in decent condition.
I like the spine has a little bit of a split on it. Like you can tell definitely it's a little bit. Like it's definitely red, but I don't care. I'm not collecting to be a perfectionist. So, yeah, man. Why not? $1? That's a great deal. That's a great damn deal. So I got a little mix of DC and Image stuff there. Wow, I just realized that it was all DC and Image that I purchased. And of course, Uncanny X-Men. But what we're talking about today, Ajax, we're gonna be talking about some dream things we've been wanting, Ajax, because as you know on the show last time, I picked up the first 2 issues of DC's Compact series. They're smaller sized DC comics for 10 buckaroos. You get a full graphic novel, the cool little extras in the back for a whole $10. What a deal. You get these at Walmart now, Target, wherever books are sold, you can get these. Books and manga. You get these bad boys here. And I scooped up the next 2 issues, which are one I've never read, one I have read and is iconic. So, the one I've read, All-Star Superman.
Of course.
Probably the greatest Superman story of all time. Again, another Frank Quitely book. He's a big topic today on the show, I guess.
Yeah.
But this book has the best Superman story of all time. It speaks for itself. You say the word All-Star Superman, and people know already how great it is. It is supposedly a heavy inspiration for the movie coming out, so it's going to be intriguing to see. This also had one of my favorite scenes, and it's where Superman brings Lois to his world, basically. Just lets her be Superman for a day. And I thought that was really cool because, Superman, in the book, he's dying. He's slowly fading away. So he's trying to make everyone happy, and he's just, even in death or close to death, Superman is still Superman, he doesn't change one bit.
That always sticks out to me in All-Star Superman is when he goes up to the roof and he talks to the teenage girl. Yeah.
Yep.
And he's like, things aren't always as bad as it seems. Your doctor really couldn't, call you back.
And I think the greatest part about it that people don't even cover is that at the time that happens, literally the page before, he's talking with Lois, being very close to the love of his life. And as they're like pouring their hearts out to each other, he just says to her, "I have to go, Lois. Someone needs me." And it's the phone call that the girl's on before she drops her phone, which I think is so cool. Because even though he's with the love of his life, he sees someone's in dire need of trouble, and he's there in an instant, which I think is so great. So yeah, I had to get it physical. I read it digitally on DC's app, so I wanted to get it physically, so I have it. And I thought, what better way than a little compact, easy to display version of it. And I also got Far Sector, which is very interesting. I don't know much about Sojourner Mullen, who is this Lantern. She's also known as Jo. I don't know much about her. She plays a big part in Green Lantern's current run. So I wanted to learn more about her, and I think that's cool that they're mixing in characters you don't know with the characters you do for these compact editions. So I get to learn more about her. This may also be coming with me in the car ride. I got 12 hours in a car, so this may be coming with me as well, so I can learn about this character. But Ajax, as these are coming out, we know we're getting things like Wonder Woman, Gotham City Sirens, a Catwoman book, Batman Hush. We're getting a vampire book to cover the horror genre, because they're all kind of like genres they cover, which I think is cool as well. And if people are curious what genre you are reading, it says it here in this really small text. Can't really read hers. It says science fiction, and Superman's is science fiction / fantasy. So they each have their own genre, which I think is great if you're into a certain type of book. So Ajax, if you were to have some DC compact books, what are some books that could be very well-selling, or even not well-selling, compact books that you personally would want?
The original Question run from the 80s.
Oh, okay.
I would go with that, because the original run is 10 issues, and I think you can fit that in the compact format.
I think so, too.
Because they did it with Watchmen, right? And Watchmen is like 12 issues?
Yes, they did it with Watchmen.
Okay.
And I think another one, mine's kind of obscure, but it's also because I'm currently in the hunt to find issue 3 of this, because I need it. I have all other issues besides issue 3. Heckler, because Keith Giffen, I think, is one of, if not the most unspoken greatest artist. His style is so cool and unique. But I think Heckler's a character that looks so bright and jumps off the page to you that I think it would be a great way to honor Keith Giffen, to do a collection of that character. His first run's only 6 issues. It's a character that I've been dying to read about, hence why I've been dying to find my issue 3, because I don't want to start it and then stop. I want to read it all through. And I think a compact edition would be great with all the proceeds going to his family, since he has passed, unfortunately. It'd be a great way to get some money and give the money to his family, with one of his creations that he created with Steve Mitchell. So, that's one I would watch. Very obscure, but I think it could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I would also love the New Gods.
Oh, that would be really good.
I feel like that's something where hardcore comic book fans appreciate the New Gods because it's a Jack Kirby creation.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people that are just getting into comic books aren't familiar with the New Gods. They know who Darkseid is.
Yeah.
They've probably seen Darkseid like in the live action movies, but they haven't really seen any of the other characters, right? Because they haven't done like Mr. Miracle.
Nope. They haven't. I think they did one Mr. Miracle run recently.
No, but I mean like in live action.
Oh, live action. Yeah, no, they haven't.
They haven't done like Orion.
Nope. He did get he got an amalgam character though, Thorian, which I think is a pretty cool combination.
Yes, very much so. But that's something I would like to see get more love out of, because Jack Kirby, like that's something that he really held near and dear and close to his heart was the New Gods. It was something that he poured a lot of his heart into.
Yeah.
And I'd just like to see it get more love.
I would too. And I think another 2 books that I had in mind were kind of things that I want to see follow that theme we talked about earlier with like movies being made. And I think this is a great opportunity to sell The Authority as a compact edition.
I think so.
This is this is the time to do that, where you can really sell that book. It's at a price point people can buy. You throw whatever one's on the shelf right now. I forgot how many issues that run was. But if you can get that, if you could fit it into a compact edition, I think that'd be great. Even if you do a part 1 and part 2, even though they're trying to keep it, together, but if they're able to, I think that'd be a great way to introduce people to the Authority in a manner that is easily digestible.
I think it would be great, especially on top of the fact that they're doing a compendium edition that's coming out sometime this year.
Yes, they are.
Of the original run.
So I think this is the time to do it, and I think what's her name's getting a new series now. What's her name for Jenny, right? Because she's the one that like the 21st century, right, or like 20th century.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's getting a new run in DC right now, a single issue about just her. I guess her body somehow like wakes up and has like life again, but it's in the current modern world. It is going to be controversial. But I think this person's writing style does fit this character. It is being written by Tom King, who is a very prolific writer. People, you either love him or you don't. But I think his writing style, his like darker cursing, like he loves to curse style of writing a character, I think could fit her well. I think if there's anyone I'd want to see him do, I kind of want to see him off Wonder Woman and working on that. I think she'd be a better fit for him than Wonder Woman.
I don't want to see him write Wonder Woman.
Yeah, he's currently, I think, 12 or 13 issues into Wonder Woman right now, and I've been trying to get through it. It's a lot of slow build. Stuff has happened in the first 2 issues that has not been touched on in the past, 10 months, and I'm like, all right, what are we doing? This is still building. What is going on?
I remember that hype of, Trinity, Wonder Woman's daughter, when they debuted her. So I read that issue, and I was like, man, she's not likable at all.
Dude,
at
all. The backup issues of Wonder Woman have made her likable, because what it is it's following her as a kid. Honestly, I buy the books for Wonder Woman just for the backup funny stories of Trinity, Damian, and John.
Okay.
Because Tom King writes those as well, but it's fucking night and day. They're 3-4 page mini stories of them at different time periods raising Trinity as a kid. And it's basically his way of just being I get to write Damian and John bickering with each other in a comedy manner, with Trinity being there, and you see how she's learning her powers. You see how all their dynamics are. And I think it works really well, to the point that they're actually selling a trade paperback of just the backup stories now. That's how much people like those backup stories. They're doing another trade paperback separate from Wonder Woman with just those backup stories. But it's funny because it's just her as a kid growing up with these 2 guys. One's fucking Superman and one's Robin, And it's cool because there is an issue where it's in the future, where I guess the actual Trinity is dead, like Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, that Trinity, not the character. Like I think they're dead. I think because like they talk about like their memory, because at that time in that issue, Damian's dressed as Batman, and John Kent is just Superman. He is just Superman. And Trinity's dressed like in Wonder Woman style clothes, like they took over the mantle at this point. But they don't say like if they're dead or not. But they definitely have taken over the mantles of these heroes. And it was a fun story of Trinity fucking around and messing with shit. Like there's one where she messes with the timeline because she has to do a project that was assigned to her by Batman, you know, about like feudal Japan. So she starts like they send her to the back to feudal Japan, and they're like, all right, when you get there, don't fuck with anything because it's gonna mess with the timeline. And she's like, okay, I won't. And she gets there, and she's like, oh shit, ninjas are fighting. So she joins in on the fight. And then there's like samurais in a war, and they show her with a sword pointing, and she's in like feudal Japan like armor, like fighting alongside them. And at that time, they show Damian and John talking to each other, and they're sitting there like this, like with their arms crossed. And each panel, things are changing. Like at one panel, it's them. Next panel, they're like goldfish. Next panel, they're both women. And then it ends with her coming back, and they're both dogs. And she's like, oh, fuck. Like, I messed with the timeline too much. So then the next issue after that is her, like, trying to deal with them as dogs and turn them back to humans. So it's just goofy. It's just fun, goofy stories. But it's fun because it's, like, seeing how they all grew up together. I know I went on a little bit of a tangent there, but highly recommend. If you can find that trade paperback when it comes out, highly recommend it. It makes her very relatable and likable because she's funny.
That sounds more enjoyable than the first issue that I read. And I was like, ugh, it just completely put me off.
Like, the recent one was great because she was just flying a kite. She didn't know how to fly the kite. It kept crashing. Superman's like, I'll try to help her. So he tries to bring her to the sky, and Damian's like, are you a fucking idiot? Like, you're gonna... She's like 10 years old. Don't fly her into the sky. That's such a bad idea. So that didn't work. And then Damian's like, I got a better idea. So they break a dude out of... they just show, like, a random dude they're breaking out of Arkham Asylum. And they cut back to, like, the headquarters, like, where they're all staying. It's fucking... They broke out Kite Man. And he's teaching her how to fly a kite. And that's it. Like, it's just... that's just it. And it's like, okay, that was fun. And Kite Man's all happy, like, flying a kite with her. And, like, it's just cool. It's just fun little stories. Yeah. They make me very happy. They make sitting through that Wonder Woman run worth it. But sorry, we went way off topic there. The last two things I want to see them make, or last couple things. One is just a guilty pleasure I want to see them make, mostly because I missed the run and I want to read it in this way. The new Wildcats run that they just did.
Yes, I agree.
I'd like to see a compact edition of that. Since they want to add in some new characters, some people don't know. Selfishly, I'd like them to put out any Wildstorm product as a compact edition, but that might be wishful thinking, getting like a Gen 13.
Me and Gabe will always champion the cause of Wildstorm.
Yes, until the day we die. And the last two are iconic books, two that I read this year. Like they're kind of like heavy hitter comics. I'd love to see, especially with it getting a sequel series coming out monthly. Long Halloween. That's getting a new run. Like, I believe it's starting in a couple months, or if not already. I have to look into it, because I was waiting for the trade paperback to come out of the new run, but we're getting Long Halloween, 2 right now. So I'd like to see that as a compact edition, the first one. And Kingdom Come. You gotta do Kingdom Come. If you're doing Hush, All-Star Superman, you gotta do Kingdom Come. It's one of the greatest stories of all time. You gotta do it. And it's something I hold near and dear. I think that's a great story. I had a lot of fun reading it, too. Again, another one I read this year that I had a lot of fun reading about. I'd like to see Marvel start doing these as well. I think this is a great way to, combat manga without having to change how you're doing your books, you know?
Maybe not necessarily combat manga, more so integrate what's working for them and use it for yourself.
Yeah, it's to the point, dude, they're using mangas in schools now.
Yeah. So
Justine's a teacher, and her students, they learn how to read from reading manga, which I think is a little weird because you're reading in a different manner than a regular book, like right to left instead of left to right. But hey, if it's working, do it, you know?
So if it works.
Yeah, I would have, dude. That would have been so great if they had me reading Spider-Man in school. They never did that.
Oh my god, I
Like,
would have picked up reading so much quicker.
yeah, dude. If they're like, hey, read Ultimate Spider-Man, for the next 20 minutes of class, I'd be like, oh, fucking, give me, like, give me it now. That'd be the
I'm always
easiest
so
homework assignment.
jealous, like of kids like you, for example, where like you grew up near a comic book shop.
Mhm.
Like I didn't have that luxury. I lived like almost an hour away from a comic book shop, and I never even knew what a comic book shop was until like I was in my late teens.
Yeah.
So, and I only got into reading when I was in my teens, as it was.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just because it was like my dad always had them and my brother always had them. It was kind of just like they were just there. Like I don't really know a life like not a life without being a wrestling fan or a comic book fan. Like if I don't have those things, like I'm just not me. Like those are inherently like ingrained in me since the day I arrived. The day I was pre-ordered and I arrived. It was just it was always a part of my life, which is cool because like my dad's probably happy about that. We're all nerds like him, so we turned out the same way. But yeah, I'd like to see Marvel do this. I think there's some great Marvel stories they could do. And I think it's a great way, too, to highlight some characters without having to put out whole new, like, trade paperbacks and confuse people of, like, which one do I pick up now, If you make, like, a Marvel, like, shelf edition or something like that, where they're smaller, the same size as the DC ones, but just things like, I don't know. Well, that's another thing, too. Marvel has such long runs of things. So it's like, it'd be tough to, like, pick, but you have to find some core things or story runs.
So that's what I was going to add. I was like, you have to separate it where the way that DC is doing it, if you're picking up a book, it's a self-contained story.
Yes.
Like, you're getting the whole story, like, in one book. Marvel needs to do the same thing. If Image wants to do it, they need to do the same thing. So on and so forth. Man,
some Image ones of these would be so crazy. That'd be very cool. I think, honestly, I'm going to be honest. From a collecting standpoint, I think the smaller size is great for shelf space. And for like, if I want to bring this somewhere, it's not like having to lug around a large graphic novel. And again, it's not super crazy in size, but it's like enough, where there is a difference. And I think it's a good investment by these companies to do. I think it could be really great, especially the price point. But I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how they're making money from these though. For $10 a pop, I don't know how you're making money from these. Because the quality of these is the same as the $20, $30 ones. So I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how much profit they're making.
Maybe it's because the pages are smaller.
Maybe, maybe it's just less to print on it. I don't know.
Because if you think about it, like on an omnibus or like a paperback, the art is kind of like blown up.
Yeah.
Compared to what it would be like on a single issue.
And on this, like the pages are like very thick. They're vibrant colors. Especially like if you look at like also Superman, there's a lot of bright colors, but like it's still very vibrant. And like they're thick pages. It's not cheap. It's not like newspaper paper. It's like it looks exactly the same as when I read it digitally, and that's on a screen, and it looks exactly the same. Yeah. So let's see. I know they are advertising some other books in the back of this, so maybe that's some we'll get. They're advertising things like Doom Patrol and Superman and the Authority, which I did read monthly. So we'll see. We'll see what's to come of these books. I'm very excited. I hope they keep it going for as long as they can. And again, I'd like to see some other companies adopt this. I think it's a great idea. I'm shocked it hasn't been done sooner, but I'm glad it's being done now.
Doom Patrol would be cool, piggybacking off of the show.
Yeah, people really like the show.
I liked it.
That's like a sleeper show that no one really talks about, I think. And when people do talk about it, it's always, I never heard like anything negative about Doom Patrol. My dad fucking loved it. He loved Doom Patrol.
It ended up being way better than Titans, which I thought I was going to hate Titans.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I watched like the first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the first season of Titans.
Yeah.
I liked the second season of Titans, and then after that, I thought it was getting a little ridiculous, so I kind of fell off watching it.
Yeah.
But I really, really enjoyed the first season of Titans, specifically this one episode where they just dedicated it to Hawk and Dove.
Yeah, and dude, Hawk and Dove was so great.
This is the best episode of the whole season.
I want to show. They should have got their own show because those castings were great as well. Like they nailed it, and they were great. That still is probably my favorite episode of that entire show, was the Hawk and Dove one. They need a resurgence. I think if DC does this absolute universe, I think this is a good time to introduce and reintroduce characters that aren't so popular and put them in the limelight. I think Hawk and Dove could be two characters I think could really shine in this absolute DC if that's where they're going with this.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm really excited, and I think Titans was one show that I think it was season 2 as well, that when I was like, all right, this is a little odd, and then season 3 I was like, yeah, I think I'm done. I think I'm bouncing off. I don't even think I finished season 3.
Yeah, I don't know. At some point, the quality.
Is that the one where like
wasn't
Superboy
there.
shaved his head and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I didn't see that season. What was it? Was it season 1 or 2? Did he show up in season 2 or season 1?
He showed up in season 2. They teased him in season 1.
Yeah.
And then he showed up in season 2.
So that finale season 2, this is gonna be a spoiler alert right here. Remember at the end of season 2 wherein what's her name? Catches that pole that was like electrified.
Yeah.
I remember watching that episode and I'm like, Superboy watched that happen, and you're telling me he didn't just go over? Like, since he moves so fast, he could see that happen a lot quicker than anyone there, and he just watched her die. Like,
Crazy.
Okay. Also, like the Red Hood stuff, I was like, all right, Red Hood's like cool to introduce him, but I'm like, it is way too early to introduce Red Hood.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
It also he was just like he was also just like a complainer, and I was like, all right, Red Hood's not a complainer. He's an asshole and a dickhead, but he's not a complainer. He's not like a whiny person. Titans
then,
don't like me.
So then you've got like Red Hood, you've got Nightwing, and then it's like, holy shit!
Yeah.
Like, there's no like breathing room.
No, I did like the Nightwing costume though. As anyone knows, Nightwing and Gambit are my top 2 of all time. I like that Nightwing costume. I think they fucking nailed the Nightwing costume. And the guy who they cast as him, I didn't mind him either. I think if he had a better script, maybe he'd be a lot better. But I thought he was fine as that role.
I like the guy that played Jason as Robin. I didn't like him so much as Red Hood though.
No.
But I liked him as Robin.
I like that he was Tim Drake, but he acted like Damian. Like, what's that about? Like, when he was Robin, he literally talked, sounded, and looked like Damian. And I'm like, why isn't he just Damian? I feel like it would have made a lot more sense if he was just cast as Damian. Because I'm like, listen, when Tim was around, Tim wasn't a douchebag before he was Red Hood. He became a douchebag after Red Hood.
Not Jason, not Tim. Jason.
Oh, sorry, Jason. My bad. Jason wasn't like a douchebag before becoming Red Hood. Like,
yeah.
And they wrote him like that. I didn't get that. I was like, they're literally writing him as if he's Damian. So it was like a weird mix. But I like the casting. I think he could have fit the role as any of the Robins. He looks like Robin. So. Honestly, he would have been a cool Robin to pair with the Robert Pattinson Batman. That would have been a cool pairing. I think that would have been really cool to see. Yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with that too. If they introduce Robin in the new Batman movie,
I'll never understand the hesitation of giving us a Robin and Batman like pairing. Like, why?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is it because Batman and Robin like ruined it for everyone?
Hey, we're gonna get it though. James Gunn promised it. We're getting Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
And Batman Brave and the Bold. So let's see how that goes. Yeah, I think if you have like a good Robin to ground Batman, that raises the stakes for a lot of the stuff. Because like you're watching a Batman movie, it's just Batman. You're like, all right, he's gonna win every fight. There's like nothing on the line really. You know he's gonna kick their ass. But if he's worrying about someone else, that adds a little bit more to it. Which,
Not
as we
that,
saw in the books too.
The crowd has become the movie crowd, I should say. The movie crowd has become so used to just seeing Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, okay, well, sometimes we'll get Catwoman, sometimes we'll get this, and sometimes we'll get that. But, like, Batman has, like, a fucking whole heap of characters. I mean, we're talking about, 4 or 5 Robins?
Yeah.
We're talking about, 4 or 5 Robins. There's, 2 or 3 Batwomans, 2 or 3 Batgirls, in existence.
Yeah, we have Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, Stephanie Brown, and Damian. So 5 Robins we have.
Technically 6 if you want to count Kathy Kelly.
That is also true.
Is that her name, Kathy Kelly?
Yep.
Okay.
I think she is a Robin that deserves more time. I think that is. I wouldn't mind if she was Robin on the screen. They won't do it, but I think she didn't get her just due. She did not get her just due as Robin.
But you see what I mean? Like you've got like this whole like Bat family, like like supporting characters that you just don't see in the live action movies.
Yep. Oh man, I think it's a dynamic that we don't see a lot, and I think it would really change it up. There's a couple, man. I think, Damien's gonna be their obvious pick because people want to see Damien.
Yeah.
But like Stephanie Brown could be really great. Kathy Kelly's another great one. Kathy Kelly, what am I saying? Not Kathy Kelly. What was it? Oh God, what was the Robin from Dark Knight Returns?
Is it Kathy or is it Carrie Kelly? I can't remember.
Carrie Kelly, that's what it is.
Carrie.
Kathy Kelly was the announcing chick from WWE.
Yeah, like I was getting the names confused.
It's super. I was like, wait, it's something Kelly and then a C. I'm not crazy. Yeah, she's one too that I think would be a nice adaptation over because people like Dark Knight Returns. So, and if they really want to do a female Robin, you got two options right there. People would instantly like.
But
so
here's the rule though. Here's the rule though, Gabe. If you adapt anything from Dark Knight Returns, you have to do that one panel where Batman is talking to Robin in the car.
Yeah.
What are you, dense? I'm the goddamn Batman.
I'm the goddamn Batman. Robin's looking out the window like he's all sad crying. Oh man. What I did like though is that the Batman, I don't know if you saw the Batman Lego movie. They put Dick Grayson in, but they dressed him like Carrie Kelly. I thought that was such a cool touch for like if you know, you know. But he was just dressed like Carrie Kelly. I'm like, okay. Fuck it. So, yeah, no, I'm excited for what's to come with the DC. So, like I said, let's hope Marvel adopts this book style. I think it could introduce some fun stories. Also today, I didn't know if you this kind of went in again with what we're talking about with like that corporate synergy with Deadpool coming out soon. I went to the shop today and they re-released issue 1, the Ed McGuinness issue 1 of Deadpool.
Yep.
They re-released it as like a facsimile version for people to buy today, which I think is really cool, really smart. I know Drew's trying to collect all the facsimile books that they sell, so he has a long road to catch up on, like the New Age ones. So good luck to him buying some of those, because some of those are expensive now.
Best of luck to him. I'm not a facsimile guy.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, and I mean, I'm just saying this personally, like if I had the money, I would rather just own the original printing. Yeah.
My thing is like there's some books that they're selling that are like, all right, I like need to have it in my collection for like personal reasons or like I just want it. So, but it's always things like New Mutants with Deadpool's first appearance. And I'm like, well, that's a fucking $300 book. I wanted Wolverine #1 where he's doing the fucking finger thing. I'm like, that's another like $200 book.
Easily.
Yeah. So like I picked up the facsimile of those because I was like, all right, those are like iconic books. I'm okay with having the facsimile version of those. But if it's something that's like I can afford it or like work to affording it, I'll get. Like if I stumble across for some reason those two books in the wild or for a really good deal, the legit ones, I'll pick them up to replace. Yeah. But they're good placeholders. That's what I have them as. That I can pull out. And I've learned too, some of these facsimile versions, dude, they're going for half the price of the original ones, but even then they're like $40 facsimile books out there, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how does that work? You know?
Just so at that point, like, just fucking buy a trade paperback.
Yeah, and I think too is a thing like they're even more legit now because they keep all of the ads now from back in the day. They don't edit those out, so like every ad that was ever printed in those original ones are just reprinted in a new one, so it's identical to the old one. That's
cool, actually.
Yeah, so like when I'm going through it, there's like ads for like all these like 90s products and stuff. I think it's really cool. I'm interested to see though, because I know some Marvel books were advertising DC books on the back because of their distributor. I wonder if those still have that. I don't know which ones would, but if they sell some that do, I want to check that out to see if it keeps those. Some Image books had those too. So yeah, but I know that Deadpool 1, they did resell, which I almost bought because it's Ed McGuinness. But I was like, all right, I'll hold off for after the trip. If I see it on my trip, me and Drew are going to some comic book shops in Florida. If I see it there, I'll grab it. But wasn't a must-need for me. So
Right.
But Ajax, we're going to be taking a look at another list here, my friend. We like our list. And I like looking at websites that maybe aren't heavily, primarily only based in comics. Like, they have comic sections, but they're not like, we're a comic book website. There are sites like comicbook.com where I like to go to those because I like seeing people's opinions and the funny comments after. And a lot of the times, from what we've seen, the lists haven't been bad. We've seen some pretty fun lists, and if it's stuff we don't agree with, it's still entertaining.
Before we get into this, Gabe, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
I just want to mention this quickly. Boom Studios was sold today to Random House Publishing.
Whoa, was it?
Yes, it was.
Oh, shit. So that is interesting to see how that goes, because I think they're in charge of Berserker, if I'm correct.
Who's in charge? Yes, Boom Studios is in charge of the Keanu Reeves series.
Wow, yeah. Penguin Random House to acquire Boom Studios. I just see that now.
And Penguin Random House, from what I understand, is considered the largest paperback publisher in the world.
Dude, this is going to be big because, oh, God, I forgot. They do have Something is Killing the Children. They have Power Rangers, Dune, Garfield, Dark Crystal. They have a lot of stuff. Damn, and Boom Studios is currently working on Butterfly, a live-action Prime Video spy series. I do know they were working on Berserker. They were making a live-action and an animated for Berserker, which I'm very excited about, because for people that know, I've mentioned it before, that's what got me back into buying Comics Weekly, Berserker. I love that series, so this is promising. I'm really excited about this, actually.
It is. I mean, when you get like a huge publishing company that buys you, I feel like now you're going to see a lot more volume of Boom Studio comics like in comic book stores.
Yeah. I think, and Boom Studios too is like, it's a sleeper company. They do have like a lot of good titles that not a lot of people talk about, and it's like stuff that like you wouldn't even think about. But yeah, man, they have a ton of stuff. It's crazy. Yeah, of course, you know, Power Rangers and shit like that, but Berserker's the big one, and that's something I'm all over.
I just thought it was worth mentioning because I thought it was big news.
100%, dude. I didn't even know about this. That's news for me too.
Yeah, it just happened today, and I think it's very encouraging for Boom Studios as well. I think it's pretty good news.
Yeah, I think it's also good too because like they're putting out quality, and I'm glad it's finally getting recognized. And I think this would be a great way for them to make tons and tons of money. More comic book publishers, the better. I want them to succeed. I want every comic publisher to succeed, so
yes,
I think this is great for them.
That's
also,
why I try to read everything from every publisher.
Yeah, same. Like, no matter how obscure, if I'm able to get it somehow, I'm gonna try to get it in my hands. Like we're both jumping on, you know, Santos Sisters and all that. So, like, if it's good, I'm gonna read it. I don't care who's making it. I don't care if it's some dude in his man cave crafting something on like a digital website. If it's good, I'm gonna read it. That's what I'm all about.
You brought up Santos Sisters because I did message them because I wanted to know when they were doing their trade paperbacks.
Yeah.
And they told me that Fantagraphics is printing their paperbacks in March of 2025.
Fantagraphics is really good for their trade paperbacks too. They include a lot of extra stuff in those books. You'll probably get a lot of sketch art in there and like making of things, so that's gonna be really fun. Even though I own the physical ones, I'll probably buy the trade paperback.
I'll definitely buy the
just for the extra stuff. I wonder if that's going to include any of the newer stuff too, like the new one that just came out. The what was
that's
it?
A good question. Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, because it has a different name, so I don't know. Maybe it'll be included because it has them in it, or maybe just their story in it because it's like mini stories. So that could be something they do too. But I'm a big Santos Sister fan. That book is so much fun to read. It's just like the comedy's like stellar. It's a fun read. It's a really good time.
You sent me like one panel, and I was like, I'm sold. Like, I need to read this.
I love the panel where they go to like a Halloween party and they're dressed as like other Marvel and DC characters. It's great. And like one of the sisters goes and she's dressed as Psylocke, and there's another chick there dressed as Psylocke. And she's like, Jesus Christ, we need to get out of here. Like, she's wearing the same shit as me, dude. This sucks.
And it's such a woman thing, right? It's like, oh my gosh, she's dressed exactly like me.
Yeah, we need to get the fuck out of here. Oh man, that's something I would like. Santo Sisters as like an animated short. That'd be really fun, like on Adult Swim or
Yeah.
something. You know how they used to do that like in between
that would be
shows, like
perfect.
little 5-minute specials or something. That'd be cool.
Would be perfect.
I think that'd be cool, and I think that's something they should pitch to some companies. Little 5-minute shorts, even on like a streaming service if you were to do that, like HBO Max Shorts or something. And it's like Santo Sisters. Yeah, do it up. That's what I'm all about.
I would love to see it.
But yeah, so we're looking at another list here. This time, Ajax, we're looking at ScreenRant.com. And this is such a this topic today is such a how do I think it's a nuanced topic because it's called the 15 best comic books ever. Which I look at that title and I'm like, all right, there's definitely going to be some obvious names in there. But
Very
I feel like
broad.
yeah, and I
broad.
feel like when you think of the best comics ever, it is so subjective because the same
Yes.
books you like may not be the same books I like. I may think one book is the greatest of all time, while you think it's the most absolute garbage thing you've ever read in your life. So like it's just how it is. So I don't know how they're going to decipher 15 best, but I can already say from these images and the first one on the list, number 15, it's going to look kind of good. So let's see. I don't want to speak too soon. So this is Screen Rant's top 15 best comic books ever made ranked. So this is in order. This is how they're ranking this.
Okay.
The link for people that are listening is below in the description of this video, so you guys can look through it with us. Number 15, Ajax. Frank Miller's Sin City. I'm going to be honest.
Okay.
This would be a little higher for me. I think mostly because I really enjoyed this series. It was very influential on some of the books that I've drawn and written. To this day, my first ever comic book was a black and white book because of Sin City, and my first comic submission is a Sin City style noir. So it is very influential on my art style, and I think it's just a lot of fun to read. The movies have crossed over from comic books to regular pop culture, and which I think warrants this being on this list. I think if it's crossed past comic books to other pop culture, I think it could warrant being on this list.
Yeah, I agree.
Number 14, Preacher. Another one that has had success in live action. This is actually a book I've never read. I've never read Preacher.
Middling success. Well, so here's what I'll say. The show is nowhere near as good as the book is. The book is fantastic.
Really?
And the book is what put Garth Ennis on the map.
So this is the thing. My dad watched Preacher, and it was like his, like besides Doom Patrol and like Constantine, this would probably be one of his top 3 like superhero shows. Or superhero, but you know what I mean, comic book shows.
Yeah.
He loved Preacher. So I always thought it was like God's gift. The way he hyped it up.
Right. I mean, that's fair. I don't know. To me, it's just one of those properties where like the book is so much better
Head and
than the
shoulders
show.
above.
Like it's just no comparison.
Which is unlike The Boys.
I don't hate the Boys comic book, but I will admit that the show makes improvements over the comic.
So the book, I don't hate the book, but while reading it, I got through 1, 2, and I'm starting 3 because 3 is Herogasm. The second one was just a whole lot of like nothing. And like the first one, half of it was like a whole lot of nothing. There's a lot of like nothing going on in the book, and they cut that out in the show. All the times they're just bullshitting and pointless things happening that don't mean anything. They cut it out in the show, but in the book it goes on for a long time. And it's hard to read too with the accents, like the way they're written. So it kind of like pulls you away from the book because like you're trying to like read the accents, which is a little bit tougher. But the show is so much better. Number 13, I'm shocked this is actually pretty low on the list. This is actually the thumbnail for our video. Kingdom Come. I would say this is probably top 5 of all time, personally.
I would think it definitely belongs in the top 5.
Because not only for the art, for the story behind it, as kind of like a stand against what superheroes became in the 90s, you know, the edgy anti-hero type characters. This was like a great way to pit those against your mainstays.
Which I know Alex Ross fucking hates.
Yes.
To this day. Like, he wakes up in a cold sweat like, oh, dead blow. Oh, fuck,
Spawn. Like, this book was just their way of saying, we're going to have them beat their ass, and we're going to win.
Yep.
This is a fun story, though. It's really, really well done. The ending is a nice little wholesome ending, and the art is just breathtaking. By the way, this is, if I'm correct, this is Firestar and Nightwing's, or sorry, Starfire and Nightwing's daughter. I need her in more stuff for personal reasons.
Yeah.
I think she deserves to be in a lot more things. And Alex Ross drew her very well. But I think she's a cool character. I think she should stay around. I'm also a very big Starfire Nightwing fan. Besides Barbara, I'm not a big Barbara Nightwing guy. I'm a Starfire guy, you know? I think because I grew up with Teen Titans, so that's probably why.
Yeah, same.
V for Vendetta, number 12. My dad is the issue my dad has right here, issue number 1. This is one I just read like 2 years ago. I say just read, but I think I read it last year. And this is a lot of fun. I always watch the movies. The movie I loved. This is actually very similar to the movie. Like, the movie and this, they're pretty close.
You know what's funny is my mom is not a comic book reader, but she's seen the V for Vendetta movie and she loved it.
Yeah. This was a great book, fun movie, and I think that, this warrants to be on the list. This is another one I would rank a little higher than 12. I'm intrigued to see what's above Homecoming, Kingdom Come, and V for Vendetta. I'm very intrigued to see what's above that, and I see Batman Year One is on this.
I love Batman Year One. I don't know if I would put it above V for Vendetta.
Yes. So this is actually funny to look at because a lot of these books, as you know, I've been buying a lot of like the must-read or like must-have graphic novels. This is what I read last month. I just read Year One. Mostly, I have a lot of the Frank Miller collection, which means I'm going to have to get Absolute Batman. Because I think now in my head I have to be a completionist and have like his Bat universe in books, which isn't the greatest, but Year One is. Year One's really good. Dark Knight Returns, really good, and then it stops. But I had a lot of fun with this. I think it's kind of funny to see this Batman and think, oh, this is the Batman, which he has said that becomes Dark Knight Returns Batman. It's so hard to believe. Because this is Batman at its core, just Batman. It's a good story. And the animated movie is really good. And the funny thing is, when I was reading this, I was like, I've heard these scenes before. Like, I remember these scenes. And it's like, I haven't read this before. It's because I watched the movie when it came out. And, the animated movies are spot on. Yeah. So, this one, I was like, I've seen this scene before. Like, I know what's going on in this. Like, why? Am I crazy? But, it was a lot of fun. Number 10. So, this is one I hear so much about, man. Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. I hear this is the greatest Supergirl story of all time. From what I read of, like, the synopsis of it, I would believe it.
I've never read it, but I find it very shocking that something so recent is on this list.
I heard that this is, like, Tom King at his, like, best. This is Tom King not writing a sad, depressing Tom King story. This is if you said, hey, Tom, write a bright, very colorful, positive story about Supergirl in space. And he said, okay. Like, she's I know the premise, like, she's traveling with this other girl, and they're kind of, like, avenging, like, her parents were killed by, like, these space people, and she has Supergirl with her to kind of get payback, but, like, not, like, in an evil way, but, like, avenge her family that was fucking slaughtered, you know? And in that same story, Supergirl has something to fight for, because those same people try to kill Krypto. And she's with Krypto when it happens, so she's also trying to go after them because they try to fucking kill Krypto. And it's funny, I do know how it starts. It starts off on a planet with a red sun, and in the book, it's Supergirl's 21st birthday, and she's trying to get drunk, and she can only do that around a red sun. Because, if she's around a regular sun, she can't get drunk.
Right.
And that's how she meets this chick, like, in a bar, and she, like, beats people up in a bar and stuff. I heard it's a really fun adventure. And it's something I have been wanting to buy that I'm hoping to sell in a compact series, because this is what James Gunn is hyping up for his Supergirl movie that he wants to produce. This is what the blueprint is.
Fair enough. I mean, I'll most likely give it a read because I like Supergirl. The best Supergirl stuff that I've read was the Peter David run in the 90s. That's the best Supergirl stuff that I've read personally. So if it's better than that, I mean, I'm very intrigued.
My favorite Supergirl moment is it's based off the Michael Turner run with Jeff Loeb.
Yep.
And it's the animated movie because in the book she runs into the this is after like she meets up with, Superman and Batman and she comes into the room speaking to like Superman and like they just have a conversation. But in the animated movie, she flies. They just got her, bro. She just met them. She's been there for a couple hours. She flies into the room speaking Kryptonian, and Batman just goes, "Speak English." she's like, "Oh, Kal-El." He goes, "English." I'm like, "What the fuck, bro?"
Wow,
Batman, what are you doing?
I didn't know Bruce Wayne was a fucking racist.
I wonder if I can find the clip and play the audio real quick. I don't think I can find it. I'll probably have to find it after to show you. This is it. Is this the Speak English? This might be the clip here of it. Batman saying Speak English. Let me see if I think this is it here. So this is them for people listening. You're gonna hear the audio of this. She flies in speaking a different language. And by the way, the art in this is straight up Michael Turner art. They nailed it. Like, bro, did not skip a beat. Did not skip a beat. Speak English. Yeah, this is a great run too by Jeff Loeb. I think this story is great too for a Supergirl story, where she comes to Earth and she's learning how to be a human. So Superman does that by like taking her shopping and stuff. It's a fun story. But yeah, this is one I definitely want to check out. This Woman of Tomorrow Supergirl book. It is definitely, I hear everyone saying it's like a modern classic. Like this should be like, if you're getting into Supergirl, this is what you need to read.
I'll definitely check it out.
Number 9, The Mighty Thor. This is
I'm familiar with.
This one I've heard, I have not read. So this one is where Jane Foster. Jane Foster becomes Thor, aka I believe she turns into Valkyrie, and I think this is really cool. This is kind of what they tried to replicate for the movies with Jane.
Varying success.
Yeah. But Jane Foster, I believe, a person from Connecticut in the book. So,
shout out.
Hell yeah. See, this one I've heard a lot about. So I have not checked it out though. It's a Jason Aaron book. So Jason Aaron, known for putting out some really good books. I believe he's working on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's starting soon.
Yes.
Which is on my pull list.
Your time. This is a good run.
Really? Okay. So this is one I'll definitely want to check out. A lot of like the newer stuff. So anything past like 2007, maybe 2010, the latest, I have not, because that was about the time I stopped buying like a lot. I was getting stuff here or there, like graphic novels here or there, but nothing was like catching my attention. The like Marvel Now end of Ultimate era, I was not reading as much. So a lot of these I do want to go back and read, but I've been on a big 90s 2000s kick, trying to pick up what I need from those before I jump into the later runs of things.
Same, yeah.
Number 8, All-Star Superman. I'd say this is they put at number 8. I would also put this maybe top 3 of all time, if not top 5 at least. But I'll take top 10. All-Star Superman. There's really nothing else to say here. I mean, a story about Superman who literally risked his life to save the planet. Is tasked with, we're looking at his final days as Superman, and he's just being Superman, and it's a lot of fun. So definitely check that out.
It's an incredible story.
It's incredible. And I will say, the movie, the live action, or the animated movie, did it justice. They did really well with that movie. They had a high bar to reach, and I think they did. If you're not a reader, but you're a watcher, go watch the All-Star Superman animated movie, because it's this page for page. So definitely go check that out as well.
That's what I hear about the Red Sun animated movie, that they did very well.
I just watched that, but I want to read the book because I watched it and I really liked it.
I've read the book and I love the book.
See, so we're on flipped sides here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was going through a big animated kick, so I was watching a bunch of the DC stuff.
Yeah, because I own a physical copy of Red Sun.
I was gonna get one at that store in Connecticut, which I should have, because now it's closing. It's like a bookstore, and they had it, and I was like, oh, I was gonna grab it, but then I ended up buying Long Halloween in year 1, and I was like, all right,
That's still good grabs.
Yeah, so I grabbed those. So I was like, I could find Red Sun another time, and I was also on a big Batman kick at the time, so I was like, I want to read these Batman stuff, you know. Number 7, The Immortal Hulk from 2018.
Yeah, so this is a run that I've heard a lot about. I
Really?
haven't read it, but this is a run where like everyone who's like, if you like Hulk, or even if you aren't familiar with Hulk and you're looking for like a jumping on point, like this is it. Like
Yes.
you have to read this.
And
a lot of people are saying like this is great.
if I'm correct, Al Ewing also is working on Immortal Thor right now, if I'm correct. Yes, he is. This is one I'm picking up month to month. And it was tough at first to get through because I'm an idiot and I can't read fancy speech. By the way, cool Alex Ross cover. He does a lot of covers for them, for Immortal Thor. But after like the first 2-3 issues, you get used to it, and I'm really enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. There's a whole issue where he literally fights the Marvel Cinematic Universe Thor, and it's just them basically clowning on that Thor in that book. Yeah, it's fun. Like that, the Thor he fights is a short-haired, handsome Thor that makes all these jokes, and he's like he works for Roxxon, who's supposed to be like, you know, corporate Marvel and all that, like Disney. It's a lot of fun, and Thor beats the ever-loving shit out of him. Like Thor, like comic Thor goes nuts on him. Like he shoots promos on him about not being the real Thor. I'm like, you could tell Al just does not like the movies.
You know what? I don't blame him.
I don't blame him either. I'm over comedy Thor, man. But I do want to read Immortal Hulk because like I said, just like you, I hear a lot of good things about it, and I'm enjoying Immortal Thor.
About it. And from what I hear, it has a lot of like horror elements to it.
Yeah. Also, there was a new Hulk run that started recently, I believe a year or two ago, that also had like a huge horror influence on it. Like the way he changes into the Hulk, it looks like a horror movie in the new books, which I think is cool. I think Hulk has a horror book. I think that's really cool. Because it's basically like a Jekyll and Hyde. It literally is Jekyll and Hyde, you know? I think this cover, that picture looks crazy with the faces in the hands. That's cool. So yeah, I think that's a cool concept with Thor. So I definitely want to check this out eventually. That's one that we were talking about the compact editions. You put this in that one of those, you know?
For sure.
Lock and Key. I hear a lot about Lock and Key. I see it everywhere I go, too. No matter where you go, at a Barnes & Noble or your local comic shop, they always have this stocked. I've never read it.
This is one of those like indie darling books.
Didn't it get some sort of adaptation as well?
TV show, right?
Yeah, right here, Lock and Key on Netflix in 2020. So it's crossed over from comics to live action. So, and looks like it got 2 seasons. It was around from 2020 to 2022. Which is big on Netflix.
When you're an independent comic, it's a lot easier.
Yeah. Oh, look, and it has Iceman from X-Men.
Oh, that's right.
And what's his name from The Boys?
Oh, yeah.
Unless this is his twin brother. And I'm being duped right now.
No, that's Lamplighter. It has to be.
So, yeah, maybe this may be one I'll have to add to my list of things to read.
Same. It's another book where I've heard a lot about. I haven't read it, but it's been one of those books that has been like an indie book that a lot of people have been talking about for a number of years now. Shout
out IDW.
Yes, always shout out IDW. They've been doing great on the Ninja Turtles recently.
Oh yeah, and I'm excited for the fresh reboot that we're getting.
Yeah. So
that's a good jumping point on for me. I just finished reading the 2 trade paperbacks, and the last trade paperback said this is when we both kind of split ways, Eastman and Laird. He said this is where we both kind of weren't working together, and I said, you know what, I think this is a good place to stop my my trade paperbacks. But I heard good things about the later runs of the IDW stuff, so maybe I'll complete it. But as of now, that's where I stopped my trade paperbacks of the vintage books, and I'm going to jump onto the new ones with Jason Aaron, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Number 5 on this list, Batman The Dark Knight Returns. One of the most... You're going to hear it anytime anyone talks about this book. It's the most pivotal book in comic history. It set a trend for years to come, whether you like it or you don't. But it's true. Like, this is... I can read it over and over again. I read it twice before. I watched the animated movie, and I'm going to read it again. That's just how it is. It's a lot of fun. The art style in it is great. This was still when Frank Miller was putting out some great art. The story put together was a lot of fun. It was really well done. I think the bulky style of everyone looking like a toy, big influence on our CFG comics that we do. Him and, Ed McGuinness and Joe Mad are big influences on our ginormous-looking superheroes that we do.
Which we will be looking at some Joe Mad art later on.
Yes, we will be looking at that later on. And it's not Joe Mad that you think, too, which is interesting.
No. Yeah.
Which I think is interesting. But yeah, Dark Knight Returns, I mean, this is like one of those Twitter posts. You put out Dark Knight Returns and, everyone's going to agree with you or not for some reason. This and Watchmen. Have y'all ever read these books before? I hate those books.
No, we fucking haven't.
No, we never read Watchmen or Dark Knight Returns. Thanks. This is interesting. Number 4, the Dark Phoenix Saga. I say maybe this is a good run, but definitely not above Kingdom Come. I mean, it's like iconic, but I don't know. I feel like Dark Knight Returns maybe should be the top of this list, I'm going to be honest. For that reason we said earlier of how it kind of set the trend of comics going forward.
If we're talking influence, sure, but I think the Dark Phoenix Saga is amazing.
Yeah. Oh no, this isn't bad at all. This isn't bad at all.
Yeah.
This is a series my dad collected. My dad liked. My dad's more of a what was the other saga they just did? Or not just did, but that they did soon after with Madeline Pryor. My God, why am I blanking right now?
Oh, where she's the Goblin Queen?
Yeah, fuck, what was it? Where she's holding the baby in the air? Why am I trying to blank on this? It's like the most famous X-Men run.
Is it Days of Future Past?
No.
No.
Okay, so it's a third famous one.
Well, with Claremont, there's been so many like pivotal storylines.
Oh my God, it's on the Uncanny X-Men. Inferno, the Inferno saga. This is Inferno
okay.
is my by the way, this is the last image of that book. That's her first appearance.
Right.
But Inferno is my dad's favorite comic book run. Like if you were to ask him anything about comics, it's his love for Inferno and how in X-Men 97 they kind of had to condense Inferno into one episode, and he was not happy about it. He almost quit watching X-Men 97 for that. But they didn't do it bad. They had to condense it, and it wasn't bad, but
right.
He wanted the full fucking 100 and something issues it crossed over. And I was like, Dad, they can't do that. There's a lot of ground to cover, and a lot of characters to include. But
he's like, God damn it, this is a masterpiece. They need to do every fucking issue.
But I'd put that on par with Dark Phoenix Saga. Those two are neck and neck as some top X-Men runs.
For sure, but you also have to include Days of Future Past in there as well.
Oh, 100%. Number 3. Okay, this is one I hear a ridiculous amount about also. Another indie darling book, Saga. I hear this is if you like Star Wars, if you like fantasy world things, this is the book for you. I've heard a lot of good things about this.
This is the one book I'm embarrassed to say that I haven't read yet.
Same.
Just because of the praise that I've heard for Saga, and because I like Brian K. Vaughan as well as a writer, I like Why the Last Man. I think that's a really good book.
Yeah.
I like his run on The Runaways.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. Brian K. Vaughan is just a good writer.
Yeah. And
Fiona Staples is a really good artist as well.
And I hear such good things about this. Whenever I meet anyone that's in the comics, I have a coworker I became friends with, and she was like, "Oh, I'm into comics." I was like, "Oh shit, me too. What are you into?" She was like, "Oh, have you ever read Saga?" And I was like, "No." And she was like, "Fucking how have you not read Saga?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I don't know." I think because I'm at the point now, so growing up, I wanted to read superheroes. Superheroes are my thing. That was my genre. So if there was something outside of superheroes, I wasn't really reading it unless it was Star Wars. If it was a Star Wars comic from Dark Horse, I was reading it. If it was anything DC that was Superman or Batman, Spider-Man, I was reading it, X-Men. But nothing that's a different genre than those. Now that I'm older, I appreciate those because now myself am drawing different genres than superheroes. I'm drawing, horror books. I'm drawing fantasy books. I'm drawing a vampire book. So I'm doing.
Yep.
I'm branching out myself. So I've been reading a lot of this stuff now, and I feel like I've missed out on gold mines by not reading these. So this is one that if I do have if I was to make a physical list of to buy, besides Lock and Key, this is number one because everyone talks about it, and I want to be a part of it. I want to know what's so good about this. This is supposed to get a live action adaptation too, if I'm correct, and I don't know if it's just fell through or what.
I think it's been talked about.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, see everyone talking about it, but is this it announced here? But yeah, it was supposed to get something, but it just never came through.
Yeah.
This dude has a full fucking lightsaber in this. It's cool. Even Drew and I right now, we've been spitballing some science fiction ideas for a cool Star Wars-esque comic book. So this is something I should probably research and get into reading.
What's funny is probably one of those years where it's well, every idea we come up with, we're probably gonna read about it in Saga anyways.
Yeah, we're just gonna make our own Saga.
But no, this is something that I absolutely need to read at some point.
Yeah, because this is a book that even if someone's not a comic book fan and they just like graphic novels, a lot of people just have this in their collection because it has crossed over to actual people that read actual books. They like Saga.
Unquote.
Yeah, they like Saga too, so it's it's crossed over. It must be that good.
But by the way, I hate the term graphic novel so much.
Me too. It's comic books.
In the sense that people that call
That's
it
an Alan
graphic
Moore
novels,
ism, I feel like
it is. The people that call it graphic novels are so ashamed to admit that they read comic books.
Yeah, it sounds so preppy. Oh, I don't read comic books. I read graphic novels. Brother, it's a book with pictures, brother. That's what a comic book is.
Yeah, shut the fuck up, man.
That's like saying when you read one of those gold spine books to your child, they're this isn't a book. This is a graphic novel.
But funny enough, I know Alan Moore hates it, which he should because I hate it as well.
Yeah, I know.
It probably started with the paperback editions of Watchmen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of calling it a graphic novel.
And I think too, if you were to sell these books in a store, Target has a manga section, and then they have graphic novels. I think it just sounds better at these places where it sounds a little bit more professional, I guess, a little bit more corporate. Oh, it's a graphic novel. It's not a comic book.
Yeah.
Which sucks that it's thought like that, but I think that's their mindset.
You know what that reminded me of?
What?
It reminds me of WWE calling it sports entertainment instead of professional.
Oh my god,
wrestling.
that's exactly what it is. That's what I'm happy.
Yeah.
That's I'm happy the Compact series isn't compact graphic novels. It's compact comics. I like that because it's putting comics in Walmarts and Targets again, which I think is cool, and not graphic novels. I have the Alan Moore book. It's How to Write a Comic. I feel like just reading through that to see everything I'm doing wrong.
Yeah, it's oh fuck everything.
All right, number 2 on this list. Okay, what the hell is number 1? All right, number 2 they have Watchmen.
Okay, I have a feeling that I know what number 1 is.
Really?
It's probably Sandman.
I think it's Holy Terror.
I wish everyone could have seen the look on Gabe's face because he was so serious for a split second when he said that.
That book is horrible.
For just a split second.
The book is horrible. And I own it, and it's horrible. I will say Watchmen, though, it's gotten TV shows, movies. I got this book. I probably talked about this when I got it, but Ajax, I got the compact edition, right?
Yep.
This right here. This beauty. I love it. I love the alternative graphic novel cover with Rorschach's face. Also, I have a mask I got for Christmas of him where if you breathe into the mask, it moves. The splotches move. Yeah, dude, it's fucking cool. I'll bust it out next time we do a show and I'll wear it to show you. But when I got this, it was funny because I go to the counter because I had to order it online to make sure because the other ones were selling out. Batman sold out. And it said 1 left in stock of Watchmen. So I was like, fuck, I want it. So I bought it online at the store. They put it to the side for me. When I went to Target to get it, this lady, she was she had to be in her 50s maybe, late 40s. No, definitely 50s. She had to be in her 50s. And she goes to the back, and she's back there for a while. And I'm like, did they lose my shit? Where is it? And she comes back and she goes, I fucking love Watchmen. And I was like, oh, me too. She's like, Watchmen? She goes, I have Watchmen. It's so good. And I'm like, I know. I'm like, this old lady at Target is like, bro, Watchmen, fire. That's how you know how popular Watchmen was. It wasn't just a book for comic fans. Like, everyone read Watchmen. I wasn't even alive at this time, and all I hear about is how everyone read Watchmen.
I mean, one of my best friends is not a comic book guy whatsoever, and he's like, I read Watchmen in college.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I mean, listen, if you're buying Watchmen, you're basically buying an actual book with the amount of dialogue in this book. It's basically its own book, an actual
Yeah, the dialogue in Watchmen is crazy.
So, again, another book that's probably coming with me on the trip. This will keep me busy for like an hour and a half. Man, my to-read pile for the trip is gonna be crazy. I got fucking Witchblade, Watchmen, Fart Sector. All right, it's time to find out what number 1 is for Screen Rant.
I'm guessing Sandman. Do you have a guess?
I'm gonna say Sandman 2. And it is Sandman. I mean, yeah, what else is there? What's there to say about Sandman? And you know what's funny about Sandman, Ajax? Never read it.
Yeah?
Never read Sandman. Never read Preacher. This is another one of those need to buy books for my pile. My dad, I believe, does have some single issues though of Sandman.
Hmm.
But yeah, him and my uncle Jason, this was like they loved this book when they were younger.
Well, Sandman is kind of like in the same pantheon of Watchmen, where not only did they win like Eisners, they won like actual literature like awards.
Yeah.
Like outside of like the comic book industry.
And I think what I love too, I have yet to watch the show. I love seeing the scenes from the show though. It's people doing side-by-sides of the scenes from the show and the book, and it's literally like word for word of things that are said in the book that are just put on the screen. And I'm like, that's cool.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, like that's cool. Like there's a scene like where someone's laying on a bench. It's one of the chicks in the book, and she's talking to him, to the main character, and it's just word for word, like from the book, the exact panels, the exact speech bubbles, and I'm like, that is so cool when they do that, and it comes off well, and it's done well. And I think that helped too, because didn't Gaiman work on the show as well? If I'm correct.
Yeah, actually, Neil Gaiman did have a lot of influence on the show.
Man, Neil Gaiman did what Todd McFarlane's been trying to do for like 10 years now. And it's
In a lawsuit?
having the ability to be in charge of his show about his character.
Todd is like 0 for 2 lawsuits. Like he lost the one with Gaiman for and Angela, and then Angela, and he lost the one for Tony Twistelli.
Did
I
he?
I don't know if you know the story about that game.
No.
But you know the Spawn character Tony Twistelli, the mob boss?
Yeah.
Well, he got the name Tony Twistelli from an NHL player called Tony Twist.
Oh my god.
And
no. Oh, really? Did he? Yeah. I don't believe you.
And when Tony Twist found out about it, he was like, "Hey, what the fuck?"
He was like, "Hey, fuck that. Not happening."
Like, brother, where are my royalties? You're fucking using my name.
Like, what are you doing? What are you doing here?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I
Well,
think
that
they
was
ended up settling out of court for like a couple million.
Hey, that's not too bad. That's a good payday right there.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Well, Ajax, we are going to be going on to our little Deadpool portion here. We are going to be looking at this month in Wizard. By the way, thank you, Screen Rant, for that list. People could go check that out if they want to. Go support Screen Rant. Ajax.
Yes.
In July of 1998, if you listened to last year's show, we also covered July of 1998. Last time we were here, we were in the same... I try not to do the same issue, but this issue had, the great article of comic book sexiest woman, with real, if you need a refresher, real interesting poses that we covered in July of 2023. But we came back to the same issue because how fitting, Ajax. They did a casting call. We love our casting calls. They did a casting call for a movie that they thought may never happen. Just an out there movie that they thought would be so much fun to see. A little movie called Deadpool. And how fitting that now in July of 2024, we're getting our third Deadpool movie with Wolverine in it, and most likely a million other people that people are super excited about, me included, you included. That's coming out this month. So I thought, why not look back in time at what they would have cast for a Deadpool movie in the year 1998. The person they cast as Deadpool himself
Oh God.
is none other than Henry Rollins. This is before the time. I gotta give him. This is before Deadpool said he looks like a Burt Ryan Reynolds. So, who else to go off of than this giant jacked man that was Henry Rollins?
I'm just picturing Henry going, "Yeah, I'm the liar."
Now that I think about it, because Henry Rollins is a fucking psychopath sometimes. Hearing him in a Deadpool costume being a psycho shooting guns, I would watch that movie immediately.
Oh my God, yeah, I would.
Would
love
you
that.
not?
No, I would love that.
Oh man. Next on this list, by the way, I forgot if I said it, this is Wizard number 83 for people that are wondering. Next on this list, they wanted to cast Blind Alfred, who is the blind old woman that lives with Deadpool, who is a great casting in the movies. She's hilarious.
Yes.
But they cast Anne Haney as Blind Alfred. And if I'm correct, is Anne Haney the grandmother from the Adam Sandler movie from Happy Gilmore?
She looks exactly like her.
Let me see. Is that her? If not, this chick looks just like her. Who plays the grandmother? Of course, it doesn't want to show me. Okay, no, that's Frances Bay. But this chick, Anne Haney, looks just like her. What was Anne Haney? What was she ever in, huh? What did she ever do in the business? She was in Liar Liar with Jim Carrey. It's a good
Great
movie. And a bunch of other stuff from like the 80s and 90s. She is an older actress. She was in Star Trek.
Yep.
I forgot I'm sharing this so you can see it too. I forgot. Oh, she's in Psycho from 1998, which came out the year of this mag.
Terrible remake.
So yeah, she's in a couple things. But next Ajax, they wanted to cast a character named Dr. Kilbrew. And I spoiled a little bit there, but they want Wilford Brimley to play Dr. Kilbrew. I'm Wilford Brimley, and I have type 2 diabetes.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just know him as the diabetes guy. That's all I know him as.
Diabetes.
Wilford Brimley, and I got type 2 diabetes. That's so fucked. I shouldn't be laughing at that, but it's funny. Next on this list, they were casting Weasel, which I don't think Weasel made it into any of the other stuff, did he?
Any of the other stuff, as in like
he didn't make it into any other Deadpool movies, did he?
No, because who was T.J. Miller playing in the first movie? It wasn't Weasel, right?
I know Weasel was like his confidant that he had on his team. That was like his backup guy that he would joke around with. He was Weasel.
Oh, he was.
Holy shit! So we did get Weasel. Holy shit! I didn't know he was Weasel.
Yeah,
I didn't put two and two together.
It never clicked in for me.
Holy shit! Well, they had Weasel played by Guy Pearce in 1998, who looked just like 90s Weasel.
Yeah, yeah.
And to play Patch, the little short, bald old man with a big old mustache, they casted Michael Jeter, who also is a short little man with a big old mustache. But a lot of this art is like Ed McGuinness art, which I love, especially that Deadpool image. That's a big jacked Ed McGuinness art. That's the one from the book they just re-released this week, the facsimile one. That's the Deadpool. So I think those two castings are pretty spot on to the era of Deadpool.
I would agree. Yeah.
And the next one is it's funny, but there's like a speech bubble with it. It's a little sus, but they were casting Expediter in this. Expediter, they casted her with Nicole Eggert from Baywatch. Oh. And there's a little dude on top that says, "Want to see my casting couch, baby?" And I was like, holy shit. Wizard was on something in this.
Well, I can't say I'm not a big fan of this casting.
I'm not gonna lie. The next one they casted here was a character named Siren. You may have heard of.
Yep.
It's actually there's gonna be 2 castings in this. They casted Siren and T-Ray, who is this gray skin character with like red hair, and I guess Siren also has red hair as well. As Siren, they casted Kate Winslet, who looks just like Siren, and as T-Ray, they casted Le Champion, Chris Jericho.
What the fuck?
Wizard, okay, for people that don't know, Wizard love to cast wrestlers. At least one wrestler in every casting they always do. They always love putting wrestlers in. They love it. So yeah, but the Siren casting's great.
I can, like, physically, I can see Jericho playing T-Ray.
Yeah. And
Like,
especially
you
in
know, he's got the
1998,
hair and
90s
everything.
movies, 100%. They would have done it.
But, like, acting, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, baby. As Overboss,
Kate Winslet is a good choice, though.
that is a great casting. Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
that's a
Even
good
as an
choice.
older Siren, like I'd still buy it.
Yeah.
Overboss Dixon. I don't even know who that is, but they casted him as Ben Cross. Never heard of Ben Cross. What is Ben Cross been in?
There's a 50-50 chance that Ben Cross might be an NXT wrestler. 50-50 chance.
Ben Cross is in a lot of movies, both pretty current. Most recent thing I'm seeing here, 2022. So he's still acting. He was in Star Trek. He's in a bunch of things. So good for him. Still getting acting gigs.
I would say physically bad casting. Looks nothing like.
Absolutely nothing.
like-
By the way, Overboss Dixon looks a complete different race.
Yeah.
He looks a little bit more Native American. Or maybe he's Indian.
Definitely
I don't
not
know.
white.
Yeah, no, he's
Doesn't
definitely
look
not a
white at
white
all.
dude. He's definitely not a white dude. And the last one here is a casting I really like, as Typhoid Mary. They casted
wow.
Robin Tunney as Typhoid Mary, and I think that's a great casting. I think
Yeah, I like this. I
visually
like this a lot.
just spot on. This is a person that I saw this person, and I was like, yeah, she could also play Witchblade. If they were to make a Witchblade movie back in the day, I'd believe that too. I'd buy that in an instant. So that is who they would have casted as their Deadpool movie in 1998, Ajax. I think that movie would have done okay. Not as good as the ones we're getting now. We're getting some incredible
obviously
Deadpool
not.
movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did Typhoid Mary ever make it to the movie? Why am I gotta rewatch the Deadpool movies
I think-
because
I think Typhoid Mary actually made it to the Daredevil live action show.
did she?
The Netflix one. I think she did.
Typhoid Mary. Oh, she has a couple different actresses that played her. In Iron Fist, Alice Eve was Typhoid Mary. I didn't know she was supposed to be her. Alice Eve. Did she even look like Typhoid Mary? No. What the fuck? You're trying to tell me this is Typhoid Mary? I remember her character, but I didn't know. I don't remember that. It's supposed to be Typhoid Mary.
Yeah, it's a very
Yeah.
bastardization of Typhoid Mary.
Does she have the half face? I don't think so. I don't know if it's just the lighting. I don't think. Does she have the half white face? It's hard to tell. No, okay. It kind of
no,
looks like it, but I
well-
don't know if it's lighting.
That she does there.
Okay.
You
Wow,
can
why
tell the
don't I rem-
difference in her skin tone?
Wow, I do not remember anything from Iron Fist season 2. Holy
Which is
shit.
funny because it's way better compared to
season
season
one.
one.
I was the only one that was like, I didn't mind Iron Fist at the time, and everyone was like dogging it. And I'm like, I've seen a lot worse. And guess what? It's better than half the stuff Marvel's putting out now. Like, oh man, like I didn't hate it. I mean, I really like Iron Fist, but I didn't hate I like the character Iron Fist. I didn't hate the show. It wasn't the best, but it definitely wasn't on par with like Daredevil and Luke Cage and all that. But it was definitely the weakest.
The first season was kind of rough.
Maybe I should rewatch the second. I didn't watch the last season of Jessica Jones either. But I think it's because at the time they already announced it wasn't coming back. So I was like, oh, why do I need to watch then? So, Typhoid Mary is still in the books too. She is married to the Kingpin. And she's
Yes,
back to she's back to her vintage look. This is how she looks now again.
She is honestly a great character.
Yeah.
I would like to see her actually done some justice, like either in the movies or in live action.
I like to see her in Deadpool. I think that'd be a great place to put her.
I think it would.
She'd be a perfect fit for Deadpool's universe.
I think it would be, but to me, she's just so ingrained as a Daredevil character.
Yeah, I agree.
If you have to do it right, like, please let it be like in a Deadpool movie or show.
Yeah, just to introduce her at least.
Mm-hmm.
But there we go, guys. That is the Dive Into the Longbox issue number 18. Make sure to listen to our one shot because we're going to be talking about, bam, Deadpool number 1. The iconic first solo run of Deadpool. To get you guys hyped for the Deadpool movie, I thought, why not coincide with the month of the release of Deadpool and Wolverine by talking about the first ever single Deadpool comic. That's going to be a lot of fun to talk about, Ajax.
Well, goddamn, Gabe, there's a subtitle.
Sorry. Deadpool, the Circle Chase, a survivor of Weapon X, a victim of Tolliver's will. I missed that whole sidebar. My bad. So look out for that in our one-shot. And also on the one-shot, Ajax, we're going to be talking about... I'm going to actually talk about our next book in August on the one-shot. So if you want a little quick preview before next issue, we're gonna announce that on the one-shot. So look out for that. We'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you, Ajax, for joining me, as usual.
Thank you for having me, as usual.
And we'll see you guys on the one-shot. Peace.